Today I want to give you the two most important metrics, most important numbers that you need to focus on. And it's all you need to focus on when it comes to Bitcoin returns, when it comes to looking at assets, when it comes to your pension, when it comes to trying to retire early, when it comes to trying to get out of the game and get rich and just have more freedom. Make it simple, baby. Guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Dinny from Bitcoin With Dinny. We're Ireland's first Bitcoin consulting company. And for the last 5 years, we've helped people to own more Bitcoin through our strategies. We've helped them to understand Bitcoin in a really simple way. We help them to custody their Bitcoin so they can never lose it. We help them to build their own bespoke Bitcoin pensions. And we also help them build Bitcoin's volatility and, of course, Bitcoin's performance into their traditional pension so they can take advantage of all the tax incentives. If any of that sounds good, make sure you check out Bitcoin With Dinny. If you're stuck in the game, you want to retire early, definitely jump into my Retire Early Club. So, there's two numbers. Everything I do, I like to make things simple. I've been an entrepreneur all my life. I'm pretty good at making best with what I have. It's not about necessarily having loads of money. It's about making good decisions with the money that you have, and then that in turn is able to grow and grow and grow. One of the things about money is money will work 365 days a year, and it'll work 24 hours a day. Whereas we as humans, we like holidays, we like time off, we like to spend time with our family, we like doing fun things. And, you know, we got to sleep hours a day as well. Sleep 8 hours a day. So it's much better to understand how to get money working than relying on you working. And that means we all have to, you know, become an investor in some sense if we want more freedom in our life, because it just gives us the power of leverage. So the first figure, okay, is capital appreciation. Of any asset that you are looking at or thinking of owning, you want to know how this thing performs. How is this thing performing annually? On an average basis of 5-year timeline, what's the figure? 10-year timeline, what's the figure? That's one of the most important things. Okay, if we take traditional pension, a traditional pension will average 7%. You know, so I can calculate how much that pension's going to make year on year, and that's why I'll tell people pensions are a scam, because the cost of living increases at 13% a year. So although you're adding to your pension, the nominal figure is going up. What you can buy with it is going down, and you're taking all the risk, and you're going to pay the tax later, and you don't even know what age they're going to give it to you at, because they do change that from time to time. So my thing is always build your own pension, take command of your own ship. So in terms of property, and I'll just go on a little side story here. The year was 2020. We were in a lockdown in Ireland. You weren't allowed outside a 5-kilometre zone. I had business to run and a life to be living. I had to get myself into Dublin City for a meeting. Lucky enough, I have a nutrition company. So I got in a couple of nutrition products on the seat of the car there, and I was out doing deliveries. And anyway, I remember clear as day, I was sitting in a cafe with the guy I was taking a meeting with, and behind him there was I don't know if you call it a skyscraper, but it was a very tall building for Ireland, and it was a big apartment building. And it just clicked for me. It's like, holy crap, that is a Bitcoin. I'm looking at a Bitcoin there. There must be, I don't know, 50 apartments in that. They're all generating cash flow, and that thing as an asset is probably capital appreciating at 12% a year for the rest of its life. This is where property people don't get Bitcoin, because they can't see Bitcoin that way yet. And they say, well, Bitcoin has no cash flow. Can't get paid off Bitcoin. So therefore, property is a better investment. What they miss is, it doesn't matter whether you can get paid off something every month or not. If you own an asset that's appreciating the way Bitcoin is appreciating, the cash flow is a rounding error, okay? And that's where they're all getting cut short, because they can't do basic math. So Bitcoin is appreciating since 2020. I think the figure is 65% capital appreciation, which is just insane. And now the normal thing is we overestimate what we can achieve in a year, especially crypto investors, okay? But we grossly underestimate what we can achieve in a decade. And I want to show you the figures here to show you how capital appreciation is the most important thing. If you want more freedom, if you want to retire early, just run the figures. You can do this for yourself. You don't have to trust me, and maybe my figures are off by €1 or €100 or €1,000. It doesn't matter, okay? The figures scale so big. Don't split hairs. You know, don't be a perfectionist. Just get stuff done. So with capital appreciation, Bitcoin, I'm not going to run 65%. I'm just going to say, right, 50%, because this isn't financial advice. Nothing you hear is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Okay, I'm just an entrepreneur. Been an entrepreneur since I've been 8 years of age. I started a golf ball collecting business. I retired under 40, not through selling Bitcoin, not through owning Bitcoin. I wasn't smart enough to own Bitcoin. Okay, but the capital appreciation figure. So if you're to ask any entrepreneur, and you'll see this all the time, any money person, okay, you can go back in time 15 years, what advice would you give yourself? And if it comes to earning more money, there's nothing else that anyone could do to earn more money than just say to themselves 15 years ago, buy Bitcoin. Like, that's it. And it's too simple. And us as humans, we want to make things complicated and think, oh no, if I knew this and I knew... It's like, most people can't get this, and that's why they can't see the future. That no one's outperforming the hodlers because, and they're the holders of Bitcoin, because they are achieving 50% capital appreciation every year. So it doesn't matter what you're doing. It's very hard to beat that because it scales, okay? That figure compounds on compounding. And I'll explain the figures now in a moment. And this will hopefully give some light at the end of the tunnel for those of you who are only here a year or two. Wait till you're here 5 years and you see the power of this thing. So, the capital appreciation figure means that cash flow doesn't matter. So if I have 10 grand and I have a capital appreciating at 50% a year, that's turning into 75 grand in only 5 years. Crazy. And you done nothing. You didn't buy more, you didn't add to it, you didn't dollar cost average, you just sat in your hands, or you just went outside for walks, enjoyed time with your family, was happy in your work, and got on with your life. And you didn't trade the markets. You didn't watch the traders telling you to buy and sell and buy this one and flip to that one. Here's another thing. I teach this in Retirely Club, like we do investing courses where you teach people the fundamentals of investing. But here's the honest thing about investors. Dead investors outperform living investors. Fidelity done a survey of the accounts that had the highest returns over a decade, and there were people who have passed away. And that's a true story. The dead people outperform the living because the dead people can't do anything. They just acquire the asset, they sit on the asset, and they get on with their life and they enjoy their time. They don't get stressed about the ups and downs. And that is the beauty of it. And it takes a bit of sophistication and time to understand that, but the numbers don't lie, guys. But however, maybe you're like me and you set yourself a decade plan. What about 10 grand capital appreciating at 50% a year? Because I think Bitcoin is going to capital appreciate at 50% for the next decade. Not financial advice, that's just how I see it going, because it's such a tiny asset. I could be wrong. Maybe it only does it for 7 years. Who cares? It'll be a rounding error. But that turns 10 grand into 576,000. Over $500,000. Doing nothing. Imagine the power of that if you built it the way we build our pensions and you took advantage of volatility, which meaning you acquired more Bitcoin. Crazy stuff. Okay? So capital appreciating, the performance of the asset per annum is the most important thing. And for the last 15 years, nothing has been able to touch Bitcoin. Okay? And Bitcoin is an asset class. It's not really an asset. So it's an asset class. Is how I see Bitcoin. So it's not like you have the risk of trying to pick a stock. You're picking an asset class. There are only, 5-6 main asset classes. So again, just first principles, make your life easy. Back the winner. The second number, okay, is your investment amount. Simple stuff, guys. But this is where I find most people get stuff wrong, is they spin their wheels, they don't get the foundations right. I built fitness companies, fitness business for years and years and years. Being in gyms, I've forgotten more about fitness than most fitness instructors will ever know. Because whenever I get into it, and I go into it hard, I go into it and it just consumes me. And I go anywhere in the world to learn from any expert I can get a hold of. And when I go into a regular gym, I see regular people, and none of them are doing the basics. None of them are doing the foundations. None of them are doing the actual exercises that will get them results, that will build them strength so they can be not so weak, so they can actually, there'll be an energy cost for moving some weight, and it'll be a large energy cost, so it'll have a large metabolic effect on their body. Do I see them doing that? No. I see them doing the latest fad, the latest shiny object, silly tool, jumping around the hot room, jumping around the cold room, swinging around, you name it. I've seen it. And there'll be more coming because that's how marketing works. It's just shiny objects and nonsense. But what really works in terms of everything It's the basics. You got to learn the basics. You go and watch elite athletes train, and they're nailing the basics. Even though they're elite athletes, they still nail and train the basics. And it's the exact same here. So your investment amount matters, okay? Obviously, if I can have 10 grand capital appreciating at 50% for 10 years, it's 576 grand. If I can have 100 grand, it's 5.7 million. That matters more. And that's the beauty of this thing, is that everyone gets the same returns, okay? But the millionaire is going to make more money because he has more capital deployed. So the amount that you have invested and your annual return is the biggest influence on how long it's going to take you to retire early, and if you'll retire early or not. Now, you can't really change the first one, okay? The capital appreciation figure is just set. The market sets that. The second one, your investment amount, how much you invest every month, you can't change that, baby. You're in full control of that, and that's the beauty of it. And there's two ways you can do it, okay? Guys, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you enjoy the content, become part of the community. Put in a comment in if you're doing this. Let me know how long you're following me. Support the channel, try and push this content out there. I want more people to sort of learn the stuff I learned, because they don't teach it in school. In school, I was terrible. I felt like a loser. I couldn't remember stuff. I still can't remember anything. I talked to ChatGPT there a second ago, asked it to do these calculations, and it starts telling me what it's doing with the formulas. I'm like, I don't care. Give me the figure. I don't need to know how you're doing it, because I know you can do it now. I don't need to clutter my brain with that stuff. So yeah, I felt like a loser in school. And it took me a while in adulthood to get a bit of confidence in life and realise that life's not about remembering stuff, okay? It's about providing value and focused on the main things. So yeah, become part of the community. Get involved. Let me know who you are. A lot of people who comment a lot, so we sort of get to know them. So the first one is to work harder. So if you're working 40 hours a week, work 50, work 60, work 70, work 80. That's what I done 10 years ago, is that I did work harder. I was working 100 hours a week some weeks. It was insane. I was just getting up at 6 a.m. and just slugging it out, trying to build business, making mistakes, getting nowhere, earning no money. But that work stood to me. So working hard, but if you have a job and you get compensated per hours given, well, it's easy. If you work more hours, you get more money. If you're an entrepreneur, it doesn't really work that way. But generally, if you work hard enough as an entrepreneur, eventually it works out. But that's the entrepreneurial journey. Let me know if you're an entrepreneur, guys. I know the struggles, and congratulations. But if you're working, you know, a job, you work more hours, you get paid more money. Now you've more money to invest, so you can retire earlier. So that's sort of how it works. The second thing you can do is, okay, is earn more. Learn how to earn more. So for the same hours worked, you earn more capital, you earn more money, so that you've got more money to invest. Okay? And that means you have to upskill yourself. That means you have to learn new things. That means you have to get out of your comfort zone. That means you have to accept that you're going to be bad at something for a while. That means you have to think other people are going to judge you and say, ah, look at this lad, sure, he's not able to do that. Sure, people still say to me, because I was in the fitness game for nearly 20 years, I thought you were a fitness instructor. Even though I've been in Bitcoin now longer than it would take someone to become a qualified brain surgeon. But they're, you know, so you can't worry about other people. Get out of your comfort zone. It's your life. You're only here for a short time. It's your life, your family, your friends, your time. Stretch yourself, push yourself. Learn how to earn more. You can earn more. There's so much opportunities out there. If you get around the right people, in the right communities, in the right groups, okay, around the hustlers, it rubs off on you. And that's something that I've done all my life is, you know, get around groups like that, get around high performance, get around people who are doing things that I'm too afraid to do, so I can do them, okay? So it's up to you, baby. Work harder, earn more, but that investment figure matters. The capital appreciation matters. You're in the right place at the right time if you're exposed to Bitcoin. I wish you well in your journey. Thanks for being here. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, give me anything you want in the comments, including abuse. Nothing phases me. Have a super awesome day, guys. Dinny out for now.